What's up guys, it's Paralyzer here. Today we're taking a look at the Grounded 2 roadmap. It's about time I made a video breaking this down, taking a look at everything getting added to the game. Now we have it separated into multiple categories here. So we have platforms getting added, we have the parks, this is new areas in the park, features, new game features, any new buggies and creatures they're adding, progression to the game, building, language support, and community asks. Now, obviously, right now, on the roadmap, there's no community asks. The game just came out. We got to kind of wait and see what the community wants in the game, and that'll get added onto the roadmap as we go. There is currently 4 different sections to the roadmap. We have the fall update, the winter update, the summer update, and future plans. Now, the fall update, obviously, will be coming in 2 to 3 months, maybe. It'll be pretty soon, so let's take a look first at everything that's coming in the next Grounded update, then we'll move through the updates and check all the stuff that will be eventually added to the game. Starting with the fall update, we have Axel recipes and Axel's arena. Now, Axel's arena is technically already in the game in the top left of the map in the Pine Hill area. It is a giant tarantula. For those who don't know, that is what Axel will be. So yeah, spoiler alert if you didn't know already, there's a big open terrarium inside of Grounded 2, which did have a tarantula in at one point, but it ran away. So you will get recipes and the arena added. Recipes is probably meaning this is a repeatable fight and that the recipe is to summon the boss, which would be really nice. It'd be really nice to have a repeatable boss in the game that we can farm. We don't currently have that. There's only one boss in the game and you can only fight it once. We're also getting something called the building grid. Not sure what this is, if we're going to be able to see the grid when we're building now, maybe. So we can maybe toggle that on and off and see what's blocking and obstructing things, as well as various quality of life improvements. We'll have to see what those are. Personally, I don't like the new chest sorting system. I'd like it changed back to one button to sort the chest, rather than holding down a button. There's a few other things they changed that I'm not a huge fan of, which hopefully they either revert or kind of work on ironing and smoothing things out going forward. They're adding a hot pouch on the buggies. Now, if you're riding a buggy currently, you can't, the only thing you can pull out is your torch, basically. You can't do anything else. So presumably this means you'll be able to heal while you're riding a buggy using bandages and smoothies. You'll be able to pull out weapons and switch the weapon you're holding so that when you hop off, you're holding a different weapon than when you first got on. I think that'd be pretty nice. We have the Axel Park boss. We talked about this. This is a tarantula being added to the game. It's a brand new boss inside of the game. I'm very excited to see this. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Once this boss is defeated, you will get Axel weapons and Axel armor in the game. We don't know what these are yet, but there will be an armor set and weapons, plural, associated with this boss. So I'm excited to see what gets added. Presumably it'll be one armor set. And because it says weapons, I'm assuming at least 2 weapons associated with this giant tarantula. We also are getting Axel furniture. Presumably this is similar to the first game where we'd get like a Broodmother chandelier, or a Broodmother rocking chair, or a Wasp Queen hammock. Presumably there'll be similar stuff like that in this game with the Axel furniture, which once again lends to the boss being repeatable. You want to be able to craft the furniture, the armor, the weapons. You need to fight that thing more than once, so very, very likely that this is a repeatable boss. They're also adding Japanese and Brazilian Portuguese text to the game, because those currently aren't in. Then with the winter update, they're trying to get the game Steam Deck verified. Now, if you have a Steam Deck right now, you can play the game on Steam Deck, but it's not completely optimized. There are some issues with the game, so they're hoping to get it fully optimized and fixed up and verified, which means it gets a green check mark on the Steam Deck, meaning the game is completely optimized and working on that. Then they're also working on getting crossplay with the Steam Deck, cross to Microsoft accounts, and also the ROG Ally, which is another handheld console that Xbox is currently working on. Then we also have a new area of the park being added in the winter update, but it's spray canned out. Now, obviously this makes sense. They don't want to spoil all the new areas they're adding, so to cross those out makes sense, but to leave it in so that we know that we're getting a new area, I really like that feature. There's no way to see through this text. We don't know what the next area will be, but we do know that they'll be adding playgrounds. I think this will be pretty cool to have really early in the game. It gives people plenty of time to make their playgrounds, develop them, really flesh them out before the game is even close to being fully finished. So I think we'll see some really cool creations in playgrounds. Sour 2.0 is an interesting one. Obviously, sour candies can't be collected in the game right now, and there's no sour weapons. So I'm excited to see if sour returns and how it returns to make it better than it was before. Obviously, in Grounded 1, it was a weird sort of element where nothing was resistant to it at all. There was a few creatures weak to it, like orc creatures. I'm excited to see how that differs in Grounded 2. Also worth noting, there's no mention of salt anywhere on here, so I don't even know if salty weapons will be returning at all. We have no confirmation of this whatsoever, so I think that's very strange. We'll see if salt makes a return. The Peeper 2.0, I don't know what this even means. What is wrong with the Peeper currently? Why is it changing? What is going to change about it? Currently it displays weaknesses and resistances. Is it going to display now the creature's health? Is it going to display the damage different creature attacks do when you kind of hover over this creature? I have no idea. I'm very excited to see, though. And then we're also getting coziness returning in the winter update. Be interesting to see if that works the same as the first game or if it's completely different. I'm excited to make my base nice and cozy so that we can get as much coziness level as we can and presumably unlock a bunch more furniture using that. Then also in the winter update, they're bringing in a new boogie. The first new boogie to the game is the Ladybug boogie, which means that you can now ride a ladybug. Presumably, this will be very useful because it will have the ability to do its attacks. Now, for those who don't know, ladybugs do busting attacks, and they're also a tier 2 creature. So using these, you'll be able to break pebblets. You'll be able to maybe break clay. Hard to say for certain, but should be able to break clay on land. You'll be able to definitely break tier 2 and 1 upgrade rocks. You'll be able to break your fresh and spicy candies as well. So this will be a very useful boogie for collecting resources around the yard. I'm excited to use it for sure. You'll be able to use your Peeper on the boogie. This is a cool feature. I'd like to see this implemented. I'm glad that it's on the roadmap. Just being able to kind of run around on your buggy. And if you see a new creature that you want to peep, just pull those goggles out and take a quick pick. I think that's very nice. And then quality of life and interaction improvements with the buggy. We'll have to see what those are, but I look forward to them nonetheless. We have new bugs getting introduced in the winter update as well. We have the cricket and the earwig. Now, these sound like some creepy bugs. We'll have to see how those work. Presumably, with the cricket and the earwig being implemented, as you can see here, there'll be new tier 3 equipment and tier 3 Omni-tool unlocks. It also says there'll be new variants of existing insects. This is very likely to be the black and fire soldier ants, because from what I've heard, there is black and fire soldier ant stuff in the game files, and we do have a picture of fire soldier ant armor that was shown way back by the game and then just never is in the game right now. So presumably that will be getting added in this update. That's very likely what the new variant means, if you're wondering. And presumably the parts from these kind of creatures getting added will be used in the new tier 3 equipment and the new tier 3 Omni-tool unlocks, which is very exciting because with tier 3 Omni-tool, it also means we can get lint, we can get burrs, we can get pine cones even, so we can make pine cone roofs, lint floors, or burr floors, I guess, all that kind of stuff in the game. And also, we're getting Mushroom 2.0. Again, I liked the mushroom brick in the first game. I'm interested to see how it differs in the second game, as well as new furniture and base defenses. I will say the base defenses is interesting because if you beat the story, there's currently no need for new base defenses because the raids will stop once you've done the mixer. So I'm interested to see. Presumably there will be a new raid mechanic, or the raid mechanic will be adjusted so that this base defense stuff is actually useful, and the furniture again will be cool. That'll go along well with the coziness being added and unlocking the coziness. Then we have the summer update, which is approximately 12 months away, presumably. We again have another new area in the yard. Now, this one is, again, it's blanked out, but let's be honest, it's very obviously going to be some sort of pond area. I think this just says the pond or something along those lines because we have Swimming 2.0, which is very interesting how they're going to change swimming. I know the dodge mechanic in the game currently doesn't work underwater, and they're trying to figure out something they can do to make dodging underwater be possible, or how they can implement some sort of mechanic like that. We also have Smoothies 2.0. Again, Don't know what this means for smoothies or what's going to change about them, but either way, I'm excited to see how they change the smoothies, whether they're going to introduce new variations. We have ones that last longer and heal more right now. Are they going to introduce more tiers of smoothies? So you can have ones that heal more and then maybe another one that heals even more with an extra resource. We'll have to see. I'm excited nonetheless. Ziplines will be implemented as well in roughly a year from now. I look forward to building a giant zipline tower to zipline across the map, just for them to add some other method of transportation and render all my ziplines completely useless. We have watery buggies. Be interesting to see what that means, whether it's going to be the water strider, which was cut from the first game. Will that come back in the second game in the form of a buggy that you can then ride across the water? Or will there be some sort of underwater buggy instead that you can kind of grab onto and propel yourself underwater really quickly and swim really fast? We'll have to see. Maybe there'll be both. It does say watery buggies, plural, so maybe there'll be one of each. One that goes on top of the water and one that goes inside of the water. We'll have to figure it out. There's also watery creatures. They don't actually list what those creatures are going to be right now, but maybe in 6 months or so time, maybe they'll expand upon that and say what creatures are going to be added. We'll have to see. Obviously, if they're adding a whole pond, there's going to be quite a few new creatures in this update to be able to kind of flesh out that pond, having a bunch of creatures inside of it, as well as having tier 4 equipment, tier 4 Omni tool, and water equipment as well. Obviously, in the first game, we had the gill tube and the bubble helmet. Be interesting to see what kind of equipment they go for this time, whether they bring that stuff back or go for some just completely new equipment entirely. The tier 4 Omni tool is interesting. I'm curious to see what tier 4 equipment we can kind of get and what this tier 4 tool can break. Is it just going to be more efficient, or is there actually going to be tier 4 resources across the yard that we can harvest? We're obviously yet to see, but I'm excited to see it nonetheless. And watery bases is the final thing. Now, in Grounded 1, the watery bases weren't very good. They were very expensive to put the sort of stuff on top of the pond, and the lily pads got in the way a lot. So I hope they can do this much, much better this time. A water base would be a really sick thing to build. So hopefully we get some very cool watery base ideas. Maybe even underwater bases could be a possibility, but we'll have to see what they come up with. Then for future plans, we have 2 new areas that are completely blanked out. We have no clue what these are yet. We'll have to wait and see in the future. Passive mutations and active mutations 2.0 makes it sound like they're going to kind of rework the mutation system in the game. We'll have to see how that works. From what I understand, passive mutations are ones you unlock and then either don't have to equip or are equipped separately, and active mutations are equipped as another thing. And passive mutations would be like Natural Explorer or Cardio Fan, things that you don't want to use your mutation slots for, but you want to have unlocked so you can just run faster naturally across the yard. We'll have to see kind of how that works. Then they also have new buggies being added to the game. Obviously, they don't say what, but this is like long-term future of Grounded, more than a year from now. They've got a lot of time to work on this stuff. Buggy mutations, I think this would be a sick feature if you could put mutations on your buggy as well as customization and progression. Buggy mutations would be cool. Buggy armor would be cool. Even if it's not armor, just buggy like clothing would be funny. If you could put your buggy in the Minotaur skin or the Mant skin that you get with the Founders Pack, it would just look hilarious, really, wouldn't it? And then progression as well would be cool. Maybe your buggy kills a bunch of creatures. Now you can level it up and increase its HP. You could increase its attack damage. You could spec your buggies down sort of different paths. Maybe you want one that's really tanky, one that has really high hauling strength for the Red Ant, one that's really fast for running across the yard. I think that'd be a really cool system to implement in the game, so I'm very excited for that. We have new creatures in the game, new park bosses. I love more bosses. I'm so excited for those. New colossi. For those who don't know what colossi means, it basically means the giant creatures in the game. So like the crow, for example, or the koi fish from Grounded 1. So I'm really looking forward to seeing new giant creatures in the backyard, whatever they decide to add. Maybe it's a dog running through the yard and stepping on you. Maybe it's a human being walking through the park, like a police officer investigating, and you get stepped on and die. It could be literally anything. I'm excited for whatever it is. Then we have new armor, new weapons, Omni-tool unlocks, and new archetypes. New archetypes is interesting. The most obvious archetype to add would obviously be the summoner archetype into the game, which we kind of had in Grounded 1 a little bit, but expanding upon that much more in Grounded 2. I don't know what other archetypes they could add, but I'm sure there's plenty. Maybe a healer would be cool, honestly. If there was a way to heal your teammates other than heal basses, like a healing staff, or something like that, I think a healer would be an interesting archetype. Obviously kind of useless in solo, a bit more be a multiplayer archetype, but I'm still excited nonetheless. Omni Tool unlocks is interesting. What I'm hoping for with that is basically a way to make your Omni Tool do more damage and swing faster. And those would be two separate trees in the Omni Tool. So like in the first game, you could upgrade an axe so that it did more damage and broke stuff in less hits. I want that on the Omni Tool. I want a way to boost the damage it does when breaking things so I can chop things down in less hits. And I want a thing that's going to give it more speed as well, make it swing faster and break stuff down much faster too. And then weapons and armor obviously are kind of expected. You expect to see more weapons and armor added to the game. New building materials, buildings, customization. Base moving is an interesting one. If you can just pick up your whole base and move it and then put it back down, then that's crazy. That's a really, really interesting feature in the game. I'd love to see how that works. Maybe a way to blueprint an entire base and then some sort of item in the game that you can save a blueprint to, and then destroy your whole base, pick everything up, move, and then place down some sort of machine that then projects the blueprint for you, and you put the materials in this machine, and it just kind of fills everything in for you. It could be a really cool idea. I don't really 100% know what it means. And then a bunch more languages they're adding in text as well. I think this roadmap is sick. I think it's really cool they're showing us all their plans so far for the next year plus of the game development. It does confirm a minimum of 12 months of development in going forward, plus even more with the future plans. So I'm very, very excited to see everything in this game and to play all of these updates. I'll be there day one for every single one of them. Thank you guys all for watching. Let me know what you think of the roadmap in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this breakdown, then leave a like on the video. I will see you in the next Grounded video. Have a great rest of your day.